everyone. Welcome again to a new episode. Today we have an extraordinary guest. Is Nick Bardin, actor, voice artist, and global performer. Nick, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time having this episode with us. We truly appreciate it. So, Nick, for the ones who don't know you very well, how would you characterize who's Nick Bardin? I mean, how would you tell people, who are you?
Well, the best would be probably that I'm an immigrant actor with an extensive experience in behind the camera as well.
Amazing, amazing. You've been involved in several projects within entertainment. Can you tell us a bit, the ones you've been involved with? How was it for you? Your insights. What was the most extraordinary things you've done?
Of course. Well, I've done plenty of stuff. Some of it is still not released. Some are even not even been shot yet. It's still in the air. But the biggest one, hands down, was Stranger Things. It has actually was a very interesting story how it got there because season four, it's when everything happens in Siberian prison. It was
Okay.
shot in Lithuania originally, and they were shooting it in summer in 2020. And then the second wave of COVID struck, and they had to wrap and stop. And then they moved all the stuff to Atlanta, and they needed to recast a bunch of actors, and I was one of those actors. So I ended up being in Atlanta, and they were shooting this prison block. It was all built inside a soundstage, even the
Okay.
exterior shots. And that was fascinating. It was my first time on a huge budget project. The detail to everything, little scratches, snow. We had this fake ice. And even though I knew it was a rubber, when I would go downstairs, I'll still hold the rail because subconsciously I would be
Right.
afraid to slip. And of course, working on such project is completely different level than working on because I've done a lot of non-union and indie stuff. So that was my introduction to something massive.
Amazing, amazing. How was the experience for you? I mean, I was from where you were to that change of move, to a bigger environment. How did you felt? I mean, what was the most things that came up to your mind?
First is, do I belong? The question because
Right,
when I answered and they saw what's going on, it was like, wow.
right,
And then I got a little nervous because now I'm working with A-listers, right? There's David Harborough, Winona Ryder, and others. I haven't worked with kids. I worked only with all the adults because they were basically in Siberian prison.
okay,
And I talked to a bunch of them, not to all of them. We also were kind of separated. So I was around Winona, Brad Gelman, the warden. I was working mostly with them. And I was able to chat with Brad. He was really helpful, a very nice guy. Um, and Warden was Lithuanian, one of the very few actors who actually spoke Russian. So that
okay,
was an interesting experience. And it was just interesting for me to observe how different actors work. For instance, Winona and Brad, they would be like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, hey, action!" And now they're a zone. While Harborough, he would be kind of focused. At least that's how I saw it. He was very
right,
focused for the day, and then when it's done, he's like, "Hey." So it was like very different approach. At least that's how I saw that from my perspective, and that helped me kind of to understand that there's no like specific formula. Sometimes people say, like talking about acting schools, for instance, right? They say,
right.
"Oh, Strasberg is a good thing." No, Meisner is the best. No, Ivana Chubbuck is the only one. But here I see that everything works if you know how to use it.
Right, right. Did you see a big change, for example? I mean, we know from true reality when you come up out of the university, you're not ready still for the reality of professional world. So I would imagine in entertainment is exactly the same thing. Even if you come from an artist environment, going to reality, the whole environment is totally different from what you learn, right? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, the crazy thing that my initial background was in information technologies.
Right.
I was not a
Okay.
theater kid. I was never a theater kid. I was not even considering to becoming an actor when I was a kid, even in my 20s, early 20s. In States, I even was supposed to go for IT jobs again. But then all of a sudden I woke up. Like I'm not lying, it's real goofy, very cheesy story. I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought, I don't want to do this for now. I want to try something different,
Right.
something more fun, maybe. And next day, I was in my first acting class, and the rest of the history. So it's difficult for me to say what it looks like first. If somebody took art school and they come out of that into real world, it's probably a different experience.
Right.
For me, it was crazy different experience because I'm coming from IT job, a very analytical, very pragmatic,
Yeah.
and now I need to work and talk to people who are not that. They're more artistic, and their approach is different. Even it affected my approach to acting because I'm more analytical. I'm
Right.
more like I need structure. In even my approach is like I prefer manuals, which was at first very difficult because everybody was saying, "Well, there's no manual that you can't approach acting by dissecting it. You can't. You just need to feel and do all that
Yeah.
stuff."
Yeah.
And I believed it for the first time, but then I realized that actually you can dissect a lot of stuff. You can approach it analytical, and so far it's been working for me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. We actually came from the same background. I mean, I'm still doing it. This is just part of my one of my hobbies. I'm actually, in computer science. I'm coming
Mhm.
from IT also, so it's fascinating knowing that we have same background, but you decided to go in totally different environment and throw yourself, which is something that people might be wondering. Well, in some cases, I'm not really surprised because coming from a technological perspective, we learn how to improvise and overcome.
Yeah,
So I guess with that skill you had, you took it and went to another completely different area outside of your comfort zone, and you saw yourself comfortable after that. Doing what you're doing today, right?
absolutely. Of course, there were a lot of problems and obstacles because it's still you cannot be 100% analytical. You got to go with the gut feelings, and
Right. Right.
so I needed to learn a lot. My main, I would say, strength coming out from IT background was that many people don't understand that acting is not just performing; it's also a business. You're now an entrepreneur, and that's when my IT background, my corporate background, because I was working at Cisco Systems. I mean, I don't
Right.
think you can go any more corporate.
Amazing. Amazing.
So, and that helped me to navigate better the environment of the business part because even talking to agents, managers, networking, putting together portfolios, learning editing software because now everything is self tapes.
Yeah.
Now everybody has access to cameras and microphones. We need to create our own stuff. So for me, it was way easier to just figure out, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is how I need to organize and manage this process. And that helped me to shoot my own reels or learn new software and like do all of these things thanks to my background. What some of my again a lot of my analytical blah 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 approach went into acting, but I still needed to learn a lot. For which I'm very thankful to Playhouse West. It's a Meisner school here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
That was probably the biggest jump for me as an actor when I became way more confident and comfortable with just going with the flow because Meisner is very reactive
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
It has its weaknesses in film and TV for sure, because again, it's very reactive. And sometimes you need to do the same thing for multiple takes, which kind of goes against the pure Meisner technique. So you need to
Yeah.
adjust.
Yeah.
But it helped me to just, I'm on set, I'm performing, and when something happens that I don't expect or I wasn't prepared for, I don't care. I will go with the flow, I will adapt. If somebody decides to throw a line or not doing something, I will just go with it, and maybe something beautiful, a beautiful moment will be born that moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think in everything in life, everything is overcome when you go with the flow. I think, I mean, everything, and when you really feel it deep inside what you're doing and enjoying what you're doing, I think everything becomes much easier and much more insightful and thoughtful, doing whatever role you're doing. My quest, I would say, how did you felt when you had like to memorize scripts, maybe,
Mhm.
or going on some character that's totally different from your type of character as a person? How did you overcome over that?
Well, memorizing lines, I believe that's an acting 101. Like, if you can't memorize your lines, don't be an actor. That's
Right.
it. Just it's like know how to walk.
Yeah.
It should not be a problem ever. Um, and I was fortunate. Also, my dad, when I was back at school, he taught me because we do a lot of poetry in Russian schools. You
Right.
need to read it out loud by heart, and he taught me how to memorize it, and then it would be basically stacking. Like you memorize one line, repeat, repeat, repeat. Memorize second line, repeat, repeat, repeat. Now first two lines, repeat, repeat, repeat. And you're just stacking like this, and
Right.
then the amount of lines you can memorize at once getting bigger. And then at some point, when you repeated the whole thing like hundreds and hundreds of times, it's in your brain. So that's how I was taught by my dad. And then I came to the States and I started studying acting. And I was told that, yeah, they teach the same thing here at universities. Oh, sweet. Then I'm good to go. There are other, of course, other techniques. Some people write it down or write the first letters or like
Right.
whatever they do. But this is like my way. If it was working for me, I was able to do it very fast. So yeah, memorizing lines should now not be a problem. If that's the problem, reconsider your choices, unless you want to do something which doesn't require you memorizing lines, which is
Right.
true.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, but characters which do not align with me, that's a tough one, honestly. I think everybody has their range, and we need to work our muscle.
Yeah.
For instance, for me, it's very easy to, even though I'm very nice, usually kind, chill guy. For me, it's very easy to access anger, uh, be more dramatic. Comedy
Okay.
also works pretty easily for me. What is my weakness is being suave. You know, when they say be sexy, I'm like, I don't know how to. That's
Right.
and this is what I need to work on. And before that, I still don't know how to cry on cue. I just can't. I'm a crybaby in real life, but when they say, "Hey, you need to cry right now," I'm like, I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need all the eye drops, or get some music and stuff. I just need to prepare. So I think we just have limitations, and I think it's totally normal. For instance, you're not going to ask Will Ferrell to do something crazy out of what he's doing, because even big actors, they have their range.
Yeah.
And if you different names, of course, they are brilliant people like Goggins, right, or Gary Oldman, who can just do anything. But a lot of even A-listers, they have specific range and they don't go outside. But I think anyway, it doesn't matter, because when you start, especially when you're aspiring actor, you don't know what you can and you cannot do. It's like going to the gym for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, can I do this? I don't know. So let's stretch, try it, see if it works out. And you just stretch, stretch, stretch. Sometimes I'll just even audition for the parts which don't fit me, or just find a script with a character which has nothing to do with me, and I would research and I try to do it just for myself as a exercise.
Right.
And then, okay, so this is not believable. I need to work on that more. So it's like
Amazing.
exercising.
Amazing. Amazing. What advice would you give to fellow people, like yourself, that you're just starting in, in this area, and they really don't know the way around? I mean, what advice you give to them?
One of the big ones would be there's a big lie, which is told for so many aspiring actors, that you need to make it where you are first, and that only then you can move to a bigger market. And even people with a lot of a big platforms say that, and that's a lie. No one should follow that, because imagine you're in Alaska. So what are you going to do there until you're allowed to move to Los Angeles? And why? Like, I started in Miami. I want to say I wasted almost 3 years because they don't have many acting schools there. There are maybe like two or three good ones. There is only mostly it's commercials and hip hop music videos. So if you want to work in narrative, you're very limited. And only when I moved to Los Angeles, oh, there are like 1,000 schools. You can choose whatever you want. There are tons of productions, tons of people who know what they're doing. You just can flourish and grow. And that's when I started growing very rapidly. So, and imagine you were born in Los Angeles.
Right.
So should you move out from Los Angeles to Alaska? Like, why nobody's telling those people, oh, you need to move out from big market, make it in the small first, and only then you can move back. Nobody says that. So don't listen to those people. Just go where stuff is. Go where work is, because you need to be surrounded by success and people who are way better than you. This is the only way to grow. That's the big one. And the second one, I would say, it's about schools. There are specific cults which sometimes are created around schools, saying that this method is the best method, period, and nothing else matters. Like, again, maybe Strasbourg is the best, Uta Hagen is the best. Don't even bother doing anything else. I think every technique has its strengths and weaknesses, and
Yeah.
the good actor takes pieces out of everything and see what works for them. I'm not a martial artist, but it maybe I will be corrected, but I think it's like martial arts. Purists, you can be a boxer, cool. They have strengths, they have weaknesses. You can be a Wing Chun master, they have
Yeah.
weaknesses and strengths. But then you have MMA fighters, who pick up, okay, let's get some jujitsu, let's get some wrestling, some boxing, some
Yeah.
kickboxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you see how they find what works for them. So they have this arsenal of techniques. And I think the acting is the same, because, again, Meisner is great because it's so reactive. But, another technique, like, for instance, Meisner and Chubbuck, I love her book, Power of an Actor, I think is a brilliant book. But there's certain things in her technique which don't work for me specifically, while inner monologues work. I love them. And how it's very analytical approach. Her is very analytical, works for me as well. So as an actor, you just need to learn as much as possible. You gotta be the sponge and never think and never believe that you ever got it. Always keep learning. There's always something new, always something cool to find. And that's why you observe actors as well around you and see what they're doing.
And I would say with that, you find yourself through next steps, right? Because once you reach there and you know people, you can get opportunities to many of the things. Doors open when people already know you, how
Yeah,
you feel comfortable performing, right? So I guess that's kind of like way into wherever you want to go straight forward, right?
absolutely. This is another reason why you want to go to the bigger market, because networking. Another third advice, let's make it three.
Yeah.
Learn what to do, what you can do on set, because many actors are bartenders, servers, working, maybe moving, marketing, whatever. It's great, but every day you're not on set, you're not on set. Even when you're working, and when you work, it's sometimes difficult. I was a bartender. I started as a bartender, and it was before COVID. And let's say I'll have an audition, but I have a shift. So now I need to call somebody. Hey, can you work instead of me, so I can go to the audition? Yeah, of course, $50. So now I'm losing even more money just to go to the audition. And this is just an audition. It doesn't mean I'm going to book it. I'm
Yeah.
just going there,
Yeah.
and that's a number game. So I'm just losing so much money. Now I need to pay people. Also, it's very difficult to juggle this. But when you're working as a crew member on set, it's way easier to find substitution for yourself without any problems. That's why I learned how to do production sound. And let's say I'm working, and then, oh, I have an in-person audition or I booked an acting role. I
Right.
just can call any sound mixer I know and trust and say, hey, are you available? Would you mind covering for me for these days? Easy. And while I'm on set, I'm talking to people. First of all, I'm observing other actors. That's a very big one. Bad
Yeah.
ones and the good ones. Because you need to know the mistakes. That's why you also observe the bad ones. And the good ones to know what they're doing. Then you network. You talk to the directors, producers, and DPs and everybody else. They all will become somebody in the future. Even the PA, the production assistant, they will grow eventually. Some of them won't. That's true. Some people have no ambition, but the majority will go somewhere. And it helped me many times. I was maybe 4 years ago, no more. It was almost 6 years ago.
Right.
I was doing one of my first features. I did sound for it, and then 3 years later, the director reached out to me and said, "Hey, so you're so great to work with, and I remember you're an actor. I'm making my first Netflix movie. Do you want a part in it?" I'm like, "Do I need to audition?" She's like, "No, I trust you. Do you want a part?" So it can be like that.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, in the end, I guess it's kind of like the same. I mean, when you are professional, you get the professional career. It all depends how are you and how you want to act in the professional world. I guess that works in any situation. Can be entertainment, can be IT, can be corporate. In the end, it's about many things. I mean, it's about being on time, which in entertainment we know how it is. Most of people forget about the watch, which is very important. I make a remark, not for you, because I'm just saying in public, he's very professional, always on time,
Yeah.
and he's spot on this episode, exactly, very punctual, which I admire completely, which I'll make you a recommendation actually on LinkedIn once we finish this episode. This is one thing I remark. I admire people who are focused, who are professional, and always want more. And in that way, people will know you for what you are, for what you represent, and your capabilities. Because then they'll know, oh, Nick is always on time. He can
Mhm.
perform this, and this, and that. He can do this, and that. So he's a reliable person. So we can call him anytime, and he'll be always there, and he'll perform. This
Yeah.
is a big difference from some of them in the environment that you make a call and he doesn't answer, or he goes to perform and he forgot about the role. I mean, I know kind of bit of this environment too.
Well,
So
this happens all the time on
yeah,
sets.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is for people to have in mind that in any way you do, be punctual, be professional, and your roadmap will arrive by itself. Of course, you need to fight for it. I mean, you fight a lot. I mean, you did everything on your hands, you did all the effort, even working 2 or 3 jobs while we're not performing yet. So, this is a remarkable thing as a human being. And this is one of the advices that goes to everyone out there. Nothing comes to you. You need to go and get it. And for that, people need to know you. People need to know what you are, what you represent, what are your capabilities, and they know you are dependable. You know that you'll be always on time. That they call you, they know you're going to be there.
Yeah.
And this is very important because this person then will talk to another director or another producer. Said, "Hey, this guy was good, and he's on time. And he knows he knows his stuff." So this guy then passes the word to another guy, and in the end, you building a huge networking of trustful people, and you are part of it for what you build in, and all you achieve with them. So I just wanted to complete, a bit of the point that you just mentioned. In general, for people out there to understand that all this is important for whatever you want to achieve.
Oh, you're
So,
very right.
Nick,
Yes.
you also involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, you did stunt, you did martial art, you did special effects. Tell us a bit about those movements because I saw some of your videos that you were jumping in ropes from one side to the other. How was all that for you? I mean, your insights and how you felt doing it.
So, as an actor, I believe you need to always grow your skill sets because you never know what you might be asked. Basically, what audition can ask for. Let's say we need somebody who can ride a bike, or we need somebody who can do wire work. It's called wire work when you work on connected to those cables and flying around.
Right.
So I decided I will learn basics of as many things as I can because I will not become a professional stunt person. That's a completely different type of people. Those are built different. They are absolute beasts, and I can't do that. I know. I watch them. I'm like, no, I can't. But I can do some basics. So let's say they were just wondering, oh, you just need to do a wall jump. I got it, something like that. So to
Sure.
make their job easier, ideally becoming like somebody like Keanu Reeves would be probably the best. But that's somewhere in the future, and I'm
Right.
working on it.
Right.
But for now, just basics. It was with this specific wire work. It actually was very stupid of me. I was doing it while I was shooting Stranger Things, because I was in Atlanta and I had some days off, and I thought, okay, what should I do? I was and I decided I'll find a stunt school, and it was ATL Stunts. It's located in Atlanta, and they're very affordable, and they just explain you all the basics. You can even ask them to be, hey, can we just be working one on one, and you'll have like a whole hour or more, depending how much you want, and they will be just with you, teaching you everything. So I would just go there, and why I was stupid because I was doing all these flips and stuff. What if I would fall and break something, and
Yeah.
then next day I need to go on set, and now that. So it was very dumb of me. But thankfully, it was professional. It was great experience. Learn a lot. I'm yet to use the skill on actual set, so fingers crossed. But now I'm also looking into motion capture. So
Okay.
I already performed in the motion capture. It was a video game. It's still in post production. I wish I could say more, but every single thing I'll say about it will be a spoiler.
No,
And I
sure.
was asked by the director not to share
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's very indie. It's narrative driven, and that was a great experience. So now I'm going to the class. It's called the Mocap Vaults by Richard Dorton. Richard Dorton owns the place, and he teaches. And he is the OG basically of mocap because he was the Master Chief. He did motion capture for Nathan Drake and Uncharted. He was a left head of King Ghidorah and Godzilla. So he is like knows what he's doing, and I'm learning how to do it professionally. And they also have other different classes. They have arm extensions when they're putting on these extensions to your hands,
Okay.
so you can move like a gorilla creature when you need
Right.
longer limbs in your front.
Right.
They do CQB classes. It's a close quarter battle. Basically, they have an ex soldier who tells us, okay, this is how nowadays Navy SEALs do stuff, and it's coming from the very beginning of your posture, how you hold the gun, and how you move, how you to interact with your operators and everything. And there's also an excursus in the history, how the combat changed and evolved. How you hold the gun in 1960s versus how you hold the gun in 2025. This is like a very different things. So I'm just trying to learn all these things so I can just put in my resume, and when it's asked for, I know what to do. Stunts, little minor stunts, I think actors needs to learn basics again because it's safer. Because so often they say, hey, there's nothing big, it's just a punch. Or there's nothing big, you just choke her or something. I play a lot of villains. So especially me, I need to learn how to be safe around my co-stars, especially female, because sometimes, again, I'm getting hired to be like yesterday. I was basically a murderer with a hatchet, and I needed to almost ragdoll uh, actresses around. And of course, if I didn't know anything about it, and if I was stupid, I could hurt them.
Yeah.
But because I know basics, it was easier for a stunt coordinator to tell me what to do, and we would make it safe, and everybody felt great. So that's people need to. I think stunts is very like at least basics, how to slap, how to punch, how to fall. I think actors need to learn that because so many movies nowadays require this minor stunts. It's a bad thing to say minor because everything get hurt, but in the eyes of directors, it's minor, especially on small sets. Like it's just nothing. You just punch him, but you can.
You mean it's just no? He just broke a leg. No, it's just a leg.
Exactly.
He
Yeah.
still has the whole
Yes.
body, right?
Yeah. But it's not. It's anyway. I can rant about it forever. About safety on the sets on independent
Right.
movies. Yeah. That's why actors need to know as much as possible just to know where the line of safety is.
Right, right, right. From all these, I mean, I would imagine you had struggles from the beginning when you were learning, some of them in movement. Would you think that as far as we advance in the entertainment business, the scenes are getting faster, like with more action as going with time, instead of the movies that we're doing, in previous years? You think entertainment is changing a lot, or is more or less the same rhythm? I mean, what is your opinion about that?
I feel like it so depends on the production. It
Okay.
depends on the budgets. Because on the smaller budget projects, they're just trying to be faster. They're just trying to knock it out. It's very often you can see three cameras shooting at the same time on TV shows because they just want to be like, gotta go, let's go, let's go. And they don't spend much time on rehearsing. They don't spend much time like on anything. It's just, we just gotta make it happen.
Right.
And which is another thing for actors as well, need to be adapt. Because sometimes, yes, you will have all the time to rehearse, to do everything properly, and even more. But sometimes you need to be able to just adapt fast. And they can, speaking of back to memorizing lines, they can rewrite the whole scene and just give you the pages. Okay, like in an hour, here are 5 pages, be ready in an hour. And not only you need to memorize, you need to work on this and everything. So I think the pacing, it depends again highly on productions. On Stranger Things, we had our time. Like it was just a bliss for me, at least for me. I
Right.
felt very chill. I did last year I did an Amazon show, which is coming out I think June 25th, called
Okay.
Countdown.
Okay.
That was smaller budget, and the pacing was faster. It was not too fast, but it was just faster. I just noticed the difference between kind of like a slow burner of Stranger Things and more fast on that Amazon show, because we were just okay, run lines, ready, okay, this is the blocking, this is what we're doing, boom, 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 done, let's go. So it was kind of like that.
Did you find it very like difficult to how to adapt when it is like very fast motion, to record everything, to memorize everything very fastly, and the characterization you need to put in that moment? How do you feel yourself when you have to do it like very very fast? I mean, what is the main change?
After years of experience, I think it became easier.
Okay.
When I just started, I remember anything was a shock. When for the first time I was doing a short film, I was given a monologue. Okay, we just have written you a monologue. Can you memorize real quick? Like what? So, like stuff like that. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, we're out like in 10 minutes. Like, can you do this for us? So back then, because everybody will face these problems for the first time,
Right.
and then you just need to remember and learn on that because you will never be prepared. So for me, I don't think it was difficult at all. Well, obviously, the lines were given a few days prior. I
Right.
had time. The preparation, everything, because at this point I did enough to feel comfortable. But the biggest thing I think is the crew and the cast, because when they are professional, your work becomes very easy. When you're
Right.
working with stupid people, that's when it becomes difficult. The director, the cast, the crew, every single person was, I would say, perfect. There was absolutely no problems for me to just, I felt supported when I would need to do anything. And if I had a question, it would be answered real quickly. That's why pacing needs to be justified by how good the crew is.
I mean, I guess that goes same along with any company, right? If you have
Yeah,
a good team, work goes slowly and you enjoy yourself the time when you're doing. When your team does not adapt or you don't adapt to the team, then of course it comes to struggles, right? So, um, if you had to remark a few people or some, with whom, well, let's just say, or which team you felt more comfortable, doing a sketch or movie?
oh, that's honestly there's many. Um, all the names, all the celebrities I worked with were a bliss to work with. Was amazing. Brett Gelman on Stranger Things, we talked a lot,
Right.
and he gave me a lot of insights of how to behave on bigger sets. There was also Nikolai Nikolaev. He was my also closer like co-star there. Tom Balishka, I think. I'm afraid to butcher his name. He was a German actor who was also in Stranger Things. We talked a lot. Um, honestly, it's difficult. It's the only people who were difficult to work with were nobodies. You would think all the people who were had names, even though they might look a little intimidating. When I
Right.
was doing a project with Michael J. White, I was just day playing for one day, and I was doing production sound. And I remember Michael J. White is walking in, and he's huge, muscular, and tough. I was terrified, but I was a big fan of since I was a kid because Spawn, even though it flopped, I loved
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was so happy to see him, but I'm like, oh, looking at him, oh, okay. And I'm just talking to the first lady. Would you mind telling Mr. White that I need to, talk to him a little later? I need to put a microphone on him, blah blah. And I'm just doing my things by my card. And then I'm behind me. I said, "Sup, boy? Sup, boss?" And I'm looking around. Oh, hi. And he's just super nice guy. Like, hey, you need me anything? Let's do this. I got you. Same goes on Amazon show because I was working with Jensen Ackles, the actor from Supernatural, The Boys, and the same thing. A good friend of mine. So Jensen is literally his hero, and when I couldn't tell him that I'm working with him because we're just on the beginning of productions and everything. So I'm on set. I'm waiting in the shuttle, and I'm just waiting for Jensen. I don't know how he is because again also a big fan. For me, it was The Boys. I watched very little of Supernatural when I was a kid, but The Boys, I mean, he was amazing there. So I'm waiting and just thinking, please don't be an asshole. Please don't be an asshole. Because I'll have so many scenes with him. And
Right.
he gets in his shuttle with a toothpick in his mouth. He just looks at me, hey, I'm Jensen. And he has this growly, cool voice and demeanor. And they're like, oh, he even introduced himself. Like, I know who you are. Everybody knows who you are. But he was like so nice. That's why, yes, it's like all the named actors, it was just amazing to work with. The only times we not have any issues, it would be people who achieve nothing. And I believe that's why, because they're difficult to work with and they're working on those tiny projects. Who knows why? And same for the crew. Usually everybody's nice. Like it's difficult to highlight because there was so many.
Sure. Sure. I understand. Understand. Yeah. I mean, you made a good remark. It's about teamwork, right? Good
Yes.
teamwork has good results. Bad teamwork have no results at all, or not expected, or same as should be expected. In the end, if you have a vision but you don't know how to put it in place, it's the same thing. It doesn't work. So in the end, it's kind of like you need to have also experienced people, working around. And I guess on entertainment, there's a lot of people out there that they try to do something or say something, but in the end, the reality is very different from what it's supposed to be, right? And in the
Yes.
end, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there about that, which I think they should, reevaluate what they're doing and evaluate themselves. If they're not achieving results, why are not achieving results? There's a reason for
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, yeah,
There's
that's
always
my
a reason. It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you don't have work ethics,
yeah,
you will not go anywhere. I know many people who are very talented, but they're just not doing anything with that talent because they're waiting for something. And especially in this environment nowadays, everything is online. You have access, and you're expected to do more. If back in the day, you just I can't shoot anything myself. I can't produce anything myself because back in the day when we were shooting on film, let's say, right, it was unaffordable. But now everybody has a camera. Everybody can shoot something, and the industry expects you to do that. That's why you need. It's like a paradigm change. And I would like to talk back about the best crew. By the way, there was one of the greatest projects I worked on was the movie called Outbreak.
okay,
I think it's on Fandango and maybe Amazon Prime. I'm not sure, but on Fandango for sure. It's with Billy Burke. We shot it like a year and a half ago. It was August in Santa Clarita. It was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know how, almost 40 Celsius or something.
yeah, yeah,
It was hot exterior shots, like 60% of the movies in the car, no AC.
amazing,
And not a single actor was complaining. Everybody was brilliant. The whole crew, we had a superstar crew. We had a stunt coordinator from Stranger Things. We had special effects from Guillermo del Toro movies who do all the creatures.
yeah,
We had camera people from Avatar. Like we had this amazing
true,
crew,
yeah, yeah,
and because it was during the SAG strike, we got the waiver, so we were one of the very few projects which were allowed to continue shooting. And because everything, when there was nothing was working, people just said, "Let's make a movie," and they did this really fun, packed with stunts, zombie flick with Billy Burke. And even though it was so exhausting to work on this because of all the heat,
yeah,
every single person on set was so amazing because on sets like that, it just takes one person and everything will go to hell. Everybody will be mad, but everybody was joking around, supportive, professional. No, not a single day a ball was dropped. Like that was, I think, and we were shooting for almost like 20 days, I want to say. I'm not sure, don't remember at that point. And it was, my experience was just amazing on that shoot.
yeah. But you have there a big remark. It's when there's a big team, doesn't matter what kind of environment you're in, everything is always perfect because they are focused on what they should do and how it should be rolled on, and
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what is the environment. That's an excuse, right? For expert people in the end, whatever, it's like a tool, right? I mean, you have the tools there. If you know how to use them, it doesn't matter what you put around those tools. They will be used properly. I guess in the end, it's all about that remarkable experience. And know how to work with people, be humbled, be responsible, and each one knows what they're doing. That's the main remark of a whole team. When everyone knows what they're doing, everything goes with the flow. I always say that. You don't need even to say anything.
no,
I mean, someone lifts the finger. Yeah, I know, I'm doing that now. And they already know what they're doing. In the end, it's kind of like
exactly.
it's amazing, right? It's yeah. So, can you tell us a bit about all the projects that you're going to be involved in the future? The ones you can talk about, of course.
Well, right now there's one feature which is scheduled to shoot hopefully this year. It's been
Okay.
that Netflix feature, which I told you at the beginning. It's been kind of a slow burner. Okay, I'm repeating the same words sometimes. I hate it. But yes, I hopefully it will be happen this year. I unfortunately I cannot tell much about it because I
Sure,
don't know how much I'm allowed to tell.
sure.
All I know that I will be the main bad guy there. That's all I can tell. Um,
And that's going to be on still this year or next year or
Hopefully this year we
this
will
year?
do the production because it's not even shot yet.
Okay,
Just it's script level. I think they secured the budgeting and everything, so we just basically waiting for the green light when everybody's available, and we'll be supposed to start the production. So hoping waiting
amazing.
for that.
Give me
Um,
feedback on that. I would love to know more. Uh,
oh,
and, and
absolutely.
and you are also on Amazon in June. Something
Yes,
that you're already shooting. It's a documentary. It's a movie. What exactly is it?
it's a TV show. It's
Okay.
a Amazon show called Countdown. It's coming
Okay.
June 25th. Again, I cannot tell much because I googled and they didn't
Sure.
post much information about it. That's
Okay.
why again a lot of NDAs. So can't share. I just All I can say is that it was really fun to work with and to
Right.
work on that project, and I can't wait to see the labor of
Look
that.
forward to watch it. I look forward to
Mission.
watch it. Let me know about that. So, Nick, about your remarkable career, you achieved many things. I mean, starting from zero, you are, let's just say, a human that know what he wants and know where he wants to be and achieve. Right. So you did
Yeah,
all that by yourself. It's a true remark for everyone to watch in and see nothing is impossible. Right? Why should be? In the end,
right.
it's about I want to do that. You make the effort and you arrive there, right? So in the end, it's kind of like your story. So how do you see yourself within the next 5 to, let's just say, 10 years? Is like very long range, but how you see yourself in the next 5 years? You'll still be doing the same. You're going some other areas. Tell us a bit about that.
I would like to make a little correction. I didn't do it myself
Okay,
because if I was by myself, that would be impossible. It's every people around. I had a mentor back in the day. It's every friend who spend their time helping me to do the self tapes, prepare with me. A lot of
sure.
support, tons of support of people. So that's a big thing. You need to be surrounded by people who can help you grow. Because in this industry, I think it's neither very few industries where you can do it by yourself. But in this specific business, entertainment business, you need people. Yeah,
Nick,
nobody's
what I
self-made.
meant by yourself, I meant the effort. The effort. By
Effort for yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
That's for sure. Yes, a lot of effort, a lot of willpower and ambition. If you want to be somewhere, you got to put in effort. You got to manage yourself.
yeah.
Nobody will tell you you got to show up at 9, do this, this, and that. You can go home by 5. That's not happening. You are 24/7. You are your own boss. You are accountable to yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
If something failed, that's on you. Um, where I want to be, it's weird. 5 years ago, I didn't know I would be in Los Angeles. I wouldn't imagine working on Stranger Things or having this recurring part on Amazon. I had no idea I would be meeting with so many names and great crews. I kind of just know that how to say, I'm focused on getting better and just looking for opportunities. And after that, I see where I'm going to land. Like right now, I'm branching out into motion capture and voiceover to add to my arsenal.
Sure.
Working like very seriously working in that direction, and we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, more international stuff will come my way. That's another thing. As a matter of fact, my manager, Tonya Renee from Citizen Skull, she's right now in Cannes, and then she's going to other countries to establish more connections, which is another thing about nobody self-made. Great team. You always need to have great representation. Currently I'm represented by Elevate, Susie Kruger. It's my talent agency in Los Angeles, and my management is Citizen Skull on Urinate. And without those people, I would not book those projects I booked because It's about pitching. It's about working detail. It's a lot. The good team behind you
Yeah.
will get you places.
No, of course. I mean, you need to have a good team, managing everything because, of course, that part you cannot do it by yourself. But I mean, you need to put yourself into work
Oh,
totally with them. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I mean, that's one thing that most people need to understand. Oh, I have a team. Yeah, but you need to put in the work. It's not about
yes,
having the team.
absolutely. It's self submissions. It's going out by yourself, talking to people, meeting new people,
Yeah,
exchanging information. It's I'm a very introverted person in
yeah,
general. It's
yeah.
easier for me to do one on one, in like in the lounge with,
Sure.
with a glass of whiskey. But in here, I had to learn to I don't know say fake, but like create a little extrovert, like develop an extrovert part of me because now I need to go to the mixers. I need to even when I'm on set, I'm just talking to people, and now when I meet people, it's just you gotta network. You gotta yes, and put a lot of again. You are your own manager. You are the only one responsible for everything, and you need to. People can tell you what you can work on, but sometimes you also need to look in your mirror as well. For instance, I have an accent. I play a lot of villains, so I'm right now also working and trying to bulk up to get more muscle, just to be more intimidating because I'll get a bunch of auditions for soldiers and stuff
Right.
because I can do the accents, but I know I don't look scary enough, and I know why. And then I'll watch the show, and I see who got the part, and like, oh yeah, he's way bigger. He's like way meaner. Okay, I need to get also bigger so I can do that. So it's also changed. It's like and you can. The problem with all that, you don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think, oh, you need a beard. Maybe you don't need a beard. You need longer hair. Nah, not necessarily. But it's becoming like a gut feeling after years. When it just takes time. You try everything, and then you see, oh, I get this more often. Let's lean into this. I don't know if it makes sense what I just said.
It does absolutely make sense. I mean, in the end, when you are on the rain, you don't get wet, you don't know how it feels like. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like to know what it is. You always need to try. I mean, I've done it myself. I've done a lot of experiments during my life. Some of them were stupid, some of them were not. But I wouldn't know if I wouldn't done it. So in
Yeah.
the end, most of things in life you need to pass through your own skin for you to have that amount of experience and for you to feel yourself in a field that okay, I feel comfortable doing this, but I don't feel so comfortable doing that, but I can
Hmm.
work on that and maybe I will do it. So I just need to train to see if I really want to do it or not. So it's that kind of thing. But if you try it, then you know. I mean, you cannot say, "Oh, I'm going to do that," or maybe I won't because I don't know how to do it. Well, you need to try. It's like
Yeah.
reading a, in the end, it's my advice to everyone out there, and that goes for everything, really. If you want to do something in your life, you always need to try it because if you haven't done it, you don't know what it feels like. And this goes also to a lot of entrepreneurs out there that I've actually I've recorded this part in other episodes too because I want to really make this remark that people always afraid of making that step. I mean, if you
Yes.
have the idea and if you have that concept and if you have everything constructed to fill in, you need to take that step. I mean, if you don't take that step, the idea is going to be just an idea. It will never be nothing. So I mean, it's a risk. Of course, it's like anything in life, but you need to try to see what is the result. And if it doesn't get a result, then you know that was one way that didn't work, and you need to go to find another way around to get to where you want to go. And this way, you create experience and you won't create any regrets of what you're doing. So you always create experience, positive impact. Whatever you've done all your life, it's never negative. It's all experience that you've done, and you know what you can do, what you cannot, what you can learn. But taking that step, and this is a remarkable skill that I admire in everyone, because getting out of the comfort zone, not many people are looking forward to do it. And I really admire you because you've done this many times,
Oh,
and
thank you.
you know that you want to try, because if you don't try, you don't know how it feels like. And I really admire that, because that's a thing that everyone should do in life. You never know what is the result if you haven't done it. And you need to do it yourself to get there, right? So like creating a movie, you create the idea, you have the script, you train, but then if you don't shoot it, how are you going to know how it's going to be the movie, how it's going to be the result, right? So it's kind
Exactly.
of like that, right? I mean, of course you can tell a lot of experience about that, right? I mean, you had for sure. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And sometimes you just don't know what you're capable of, and you might even have a wrong perception of yourself. For instance, because of my, again, how introverted I am. And when I started my first couple of years, I was just going for all those more quiet parts, more, like just a nice guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And when I was introduced to comedy, I would always go for the straight because, in comedy, when a duo, it's a straight and a crazy. Because if both are crazy, it doesn't work. But you need this reaction of the straight person to the crazy person to make this nice dynamics. And I would always go for the straight because, well, I'm introverted, I'm kind of low key, whatever. And my former teacher back then, Todd Bruno, in Miami, one of the very few teachers in Miami who actually know what they're doing. And he gave us a script, was a comedy script for like 6-7 pages. And so, of course, friend of mine, Isaac Gooden, lives in Atlanta, great guy, love this actor. He and I did this script. I was a straight, he was a crazy, because he's a social butterfly. By the time, let's say, Isaac and I come to the party to network, while I just saying hi to the first person, he already has all the contacts of the entire room, and he's moving on to the different one.
Amazing.
Like he's that, and everybody loves him. He has this energy. He is contagious. It's a great guy. I love him. So we're doing this scene. He's crazy because he's playing the crazy. I'm playing the straight. So we did the scene, and then the Todd is looking at us like, you know what? Let's switch. Now, Nick, you're the crazy one. I'm like, I don't even know how to. Just let it go. So I memorized the crazy part. He memorized the straight one. We tried that, and it worked. It actually appeared that for me, crazy parts are kind of easier than the
Right.
straight ones. I don't know why. Maybe I have something, suppressed psycho inside of me. I don't know. But I found out that for me, it's easier to go with the crazy ones in that duo
Right.
than the straight one. And now I often submit myself to the crazy ones, and I book them. I book the parts of like big crazy characters because for some reason, when the camera rolls, when I'm on stage, I just somehow can become this different person. And then it's like Ian, who was playing Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings. Ian McKellen, I think. I know he's from this Ian. Everybody's gonna hate me for not knowing this, but it's basically how he was saying. Well, he was asked, "How do you approach your acting?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I pretend to be a magician. So when I'm just on set, and before they say action, Ian, action, you shall not pass. Cut, Ian. And that was his explanation. It was like the same for me. I'm like, Nick, action. And you just go crazy. Cut. Okay, hi. So it's the same.
Amazing. It's really amazing. So Nick, in any of your life scopes experiments, let's just say in a good way, are you looking for to do like any real action movie? Is that your thrill, or something more calm? What is your main focus in doing, like for like a big movie? You do it for action? Would you do it like melodramatic? What kind of movie would you actually looking forward to do?
I feel like this. I want a story, a really
Okay.
nice story, because sometimes it can be very dramatic movie, like for instance something like The Whale, right? It would be great to be a part of this. But at the same time, working on something like John Wick would be a dream. Well, I can say for sure my dream role, ever, is Nathan Drake in Uncharted, and I want to. It's a video game,
Yeah.
and I want to say that specifically Nathan Drake from the video game Uncharted. I have nothing against the movie which came out with Tom Holland, but this is not Uncharted. This is a great adventure movie, but besides the name, it doesn't have much to do with the game because the style and the quirkiness and everything. Love the movie, but I want this Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and I think there was a great short film with Nathan Fillion, actually called Uncharted. I think everybody should look it up on YouTube, and
Yeah.
that's the movie. That's what I would love to do, like that kind of type of Nathan Drake in Uncharted.
Yeah. 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 I mean, the Uncharted. I actually, I think there's several versions of this video game. I think I played one. I definitely played. I'm not sure which version was. I finished it, and it's very exciting. It felt like a modern, advanced Indiana Jones in a video game, kind of like that kind of story that you always in free. We need to get a puzzle, and I think that really exactly that all those scenes and that story into a movie. I think it's going to be very very exciting and very
Oh yeah,
thrilling. Non-action. I mean, the action does not stop. That's for sure. I mean,
no,
it's
never.
amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Nick, it was really, really a pleasure to have all these insights of you. I believe that many people who see this episode will learn a lot from you and learn a lot by life also. For the people who are in entertainment, it was many, many good advices that you gave. I really appreciate on that. And before we finish, I always ask my guests to say a power message. So, what will be your power message today?
Oof. Um, you see, I didn't think about it. I would say work smart.
Yeah,
That's it. Just work smart because it doesn't matter how much you work. If you're doing something dumb, you're not gonna get anywhere. So just work smart.
wonderful, wonderful. Nick, it was a tremendous pleasure to have you today on this episode. I really appreciate your time. I really enjoyed the conversation. It was really a blast. And I appreciate all your insights, and I look forward to see you on bigger roles and accomplish your dreams. And I wish all the best for your career in the future. And please keep us posted. We'll be in communication, and I'd like to know more about your career as time goes, because I'm really looking forward to see you on bigger roles. That's for sure. That's at least from my side. You have a big fan here. So, Nick, again, thank you so much for joining us today, and look forward to know more for you in the future. That's all for today, folks. Thank you all. I guess I hope you all appreciated this episode today, and looking forward to the next one. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.